comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. And we're in October, and I'm going to do my October 12 comics I think are going to rise in value in the next 12 months video. So this is the 6th month that I've done this, so we've only got another 6 months to go before I'll go and review my first selection that I made in April. Right, so what have we got this month? Well, I've got a range of comics really, from old to new and from very cheap to quite expensive. So I'm going to start off with a comic that I picked up recently because I think it is hugely undervalued. This is rare. I very rarely advise picking up a graded 9.8. But in this case, I am going to recommend picking up the graded 9.8. And it is Avengers 257. And it is the first appearance of Nebula. Okay, now, on Go Collect, this is only showing as a fair market value of $220. Sometimes Go Collect gets completely out of sync with the market. This has gone up since then. The most recent sold listing on eBay was for £275 for a 9.8 white pages, which is what this one is. So I recommend this. I think this is a good spec. We've heard that Nebula and Gamora are going to be the focus of the Guardians 3 film that's coming up. And Nebula's prices have begun to rise. So a first appearance of a pretty major character for only £275 in a graded 9.8 white pages, I think this has got some room to run. Okay, so that's my first pick for comics that I think are going to rise in value in the next 12 months. And in this case, I'm talking about graded 9.8, and I've used eBay sold listings to get a value of £275. Let's see where it is in a year's time. Okay, second up, and no list of these of mine would be complete without a Moon Knight. So I think I've had a Moon Knight in all 6 of my listings, and this time I am going for Moon Knight number 13, Bill Sienkiewicz's artwork, of course. This is from the first Moon Knight series, and here we have Moonlight and Daredevil teaming up for the first time. Do I think it's possible we might see Daredevil in the Moon Knight series? Yeah, I think it could happen. And if it does, this comic's going to take off. You can pick this up. I've just checked UK eBay. You can find a copy of this in raw, high grade, £15 to £20. Right, my third pick is Shuri number 1. We know that Shuri is going to become the next Black Panther. This is the first issue of a solo series. Again, I've just checked eBay. You can go and buy a copy of this currently for £25. Again, I think this comic will rise in value over the next 12 months. Right, and my fourth comic, I've also had a lot of Neymar in my picks, and we have another Neymar here, and this is an old one. This is from 1965. It's Tales to Astonish number 70. Story by Stan Lee, art by Jack Kirby. As it says, Submariner and Hulk, Tales to Astonish. We bow to your demands. In his own series at last, Prince Neymar the Submariner. This is also the first appearance of King Neptune, and it is also the first appearance of Neymar's Trident. Right, so what value do we put on this? Right, well, if you go to Go Collect and you look at a 9.8 graded, that would cost you $15,000. I'm not recommending that. So you can pick up a high grade raw of this, or a decent raw, mid grade raw, for about £90. Okay, so that would be my pick. If you want to go graded, I would go for something like an 8.5, which is currently showing as a fair market value of about $350. Okay, so that's my fourth pick. I think this, the appearance of Namor in the MCU approaches, I think Namor remains a really good spec investment. Right, okay, so from a very old comic to a pretty new one from 2008, and this is I haven't had any, I've got only one DC comic in here. It's a bit sad because it's all MCU spec and Disney Plus spec. So I have put a DC comic in here, and for me this is a cover play, and it is Final Crisis #3, a variant cover. So the writer here is Grant Morrison, who I like, and this artwork of Supergirl is by an artist called J.G. Jones, who I really like his artwork. So that's my next pick. You can pick this up for between £5 and £10 in a high grade raw copy. Really nice cover, and I think it's undervalued. Right, next up, and we talked a bit about this in a price variance show, and this, I'm picking Simpsons Comics #1. Okay, so this is a bongo comic, and it's Simpson Comics #1. So how much is this going to cost you? Well, these have gone up significantly in the last couple of years, and the current fair market value of a graded 9.8 of this is about 200 odd dollars, about £150. But you can pick up, I wouldn't recommend buying the raw of this, buying the graded copy at 9.8. I'd go and look and buy a high grade raw for, and I think you can pick one of these up for, still, I've just seen one on eBay, you can pick a raw one up for between £20 and £30. Make sure you look closely at the picture so that you're getting a high grade raw, and then get it graded yourself. There are not many of these graded. I think this is a good spec. The people who watched The Simpsons as kids are just getting to that age where they've got free money and spare cash to spend, and we know that nostalgia drives comic prices. So my recommendation, Simpson Comics #1. So my next pick is from Image Comics, I think from 1988, and it's a J. Scott Campbell cover, and it's Danger Girl #1. Okay, so we do occasionally get rumours about Danger Girl getting a TV series or a movie. Nothing's happened yet, but nice cover. If something does happen, this will go up. You can get a high grade raw copy of this for around £20, and potentially this I think this will go up in value in the next year, especially if something does happen on a TV series front or a movie front, which is possible. Right, next up, and this is criminally undervalued, absolutely criminal. So we've got the Sandman television series coming up, which is I think it's 11 episodes, and it's going to cover Preludes and Nocturnes, and I think part of Doll's House. One of the story arcs that occurred after that was Game of You. So let's assume Sandman television series is a hit, and it gets commissioned for another series or two more series, which I think is entirely possible. Then Game of You will potentially get will appear on Netflix if that happens. This is number 32 of Sandman. You can the first load of Sandman, 1 to 10, 1 to 15, have really rocketed in price. quite rightly. But this, I picked this up for less than cover price the other day. Totally criminal. And I've just checked UK eBay. You can go and buy a copy of this for £2. If the Sandman TV series takes off, these sort of issues of Sandman in the 30s and 40s, which you can still get for cover price or less, will go up. Okay, I'm sure of that. So that's my next pick, Game of You, the first part of Game of You, Sandman number 32, and you can probably pick a copy up for £2. Right, next up, and I've got a couple of Hulks to finish off this month's spec list. And first up, and this is just a cover I love, it is it's the Incredible Hulk 441, and of course we've got She-Hulk on the cover, and it is a homage to Pulp Fiction. You can see the book she's reading is called Hulk Fiction. Love this cover. This dates from, I'm not sure, well yeah, it says it on the cover, it dates from May 96. Okay, I'm not the only one who thinks this cover's great. So you can get a high grade raw version of this for £25 to £30. So that's my next pick, Hulk 441, with the She-Hulk TV series coming up. I think She-Hulk is going to get hot, and this is one of the iconic She-Hulk covers. Right, and the next up comic is the most expensive comic on the list. It's Hulk 340. Right, so this is a classic McFarlane Wolverine cover. Now, you know, Wolverine key issues have been just crazy. You know, Hulk 180, Hulk 181, Wolverine first mini-series, Wolverine first ongoing series. All those comics have gone up in price. This one is no exception, and you know, if you're looking for key Wolverine comics and you're a McFarlane collector, Hulk 340, where we've got Hulk reflected in Wolverine's claws, is a classic cover. Now, this is not a cheap book, but I think this is a blue chip comic. It's not dependent on movie hype. I think this will continue to increase in value in the short, medium and long term. I recommend trying to find a high grade raw copy and getting it slabbed. So I've just checked on eBay, and I think you can probably pick up a high grade raw for around £130. Okay, if you want to buy a graded one, you can maybe get a 9.0 for maybe £220 to £250. So that is my last pick for this month, Hulk 340. Enough said.